You never get over it. It is the most gut-wrenching, kind of hopeless feeling in the world. No matter how you think the case went into the jury, you just never know what the jury's going to do. And prepare the client for it is what? Always, it's the worst-case scenario. You have to tell them, no matter what happens, you have to understand, this is the first degree. If you go to the penalty phase, you cannot react in any way or act out.
But they don't have it
You have to just sit there and try to be stoic as possible, even though a lot of times people will say, well, but she didn't or he didn't show emotion. You do not want to do something that's going to be held against you or is going to be pointed to you later on. So you try to prepare them. You try to prepare them for the worst, and as the old expression goes, hope for the best. But there is nothing. Law school doesn't prepare you for this. I've done over 300 trials. That doesn't prepare you for this. This is just one of those times when this is exactly what drives lawyers.
It's all of us that is really, for a great deal of it, those families of the victims in these cases. And I just reported to you that those family members of Travis Alexander were brought into this courtroom earlier, and they've taken their seats. Marsha Clark is the famous prosecutor in the O.J. Simpson case. She joins me live now on the telephone. Marsha, I'm really glad to have the opportunity to ask you what these moments are like for prosecutors, because the prosecutor in this case, Juan Martinez, has been meeting with the family members in a witness room adjacent to the courtroom. Can you walk me through the machinations of what you've done in the past with these family members?
Yeah, you want to prepare them for every possibility. So, it's like what Mark said.
Reasonable. Being reasonable is very subjective.
Yeah, and there is not much there's not much,
when I pass back by, y'all tell me what happened.
Okay.
Because I gotta go to bed.
The only real issue in this case is what was in her head at the time. Was she defending herself, or was she simply acting out of rage at a lover who had spurned her? So there is not much mystery in this case about what happened. The only issue is why. But I think we need to go to Ted Rollins, who has some information about what went on in the courtroom and what is going on in the courtroom.
Yeah, right now we're being told that Travis Alexander's side is completely packed with 3 rows that we're getting from in-session producer Grace Wong, who is in the courtroom right now. She says there's 5 rows full of media, and that Jody and her attorneys are not yet in the courtroom. The gallery is occupied mainly by family and friends of the Alexanders. They're taking up the extra seats, so it looks like there will be no members of the public, or just 1 or 2 folks have been waiting all day to get in. They likely will not get in. Bottom line is a lot of nervous energy. I wouldn't expect anything else in that courtroom as we await the verdict.
You could have a mistrial in this case.
Right.
You could have all the months of work go out the window because of something that happens right now. So the judge always has to go very slowly and meticulously and make sure everything is set for the delivery of the verdict. Because if something unscheduled happens here, and they're enormous, it looks like we're going inside.
Let me break you for a moment. We want to go inside the courtroom. So I thought this might have been my issue with audio, but it's not just my issue. We have plenty of problems in the field in terms of problems inside the courtroom as well, getting the audio feed back up. We're working to rectify that. Our feed pool is working to rectify that as well, and just as soon as we have it, we will certainly be delivering that. But there you have it, the first pictures of Jodi Arias and her defense attorney and her family members as well in the background. The gallery is now full. It is unlikely that anybody who else has shown up is going to get a seat inside this courtroom. The judge is now on the bench, and little is happening at this point. But the logistics, there we go. We have the audio now. Let's listen.
They're kind of scared.
Tell us what it's like.
Hers look good.
One pack of hair, that's it.
Came out that it was guilty first degree. There was a huge eruption. People cheering. Kathy Brown, you're fine.
She also could have been found guilty of lesser included. That did not happen. And now this story will move to another phase. A phase in which the jury needs to decide if her life is worth saving or if her life needs to be taken in a death penalty phase. I also want to just break down for you inside the courtroom what the jury decided and how it voted. There were two theories, Jeffrey Tubin, on which in a first-degree murder. One was a premeditated murder, and the other was a felony murder. I think murder is, but a felony murder means that the killing or the death of Travis Alexander resulted in the commission of a felony. And these prosecutors said the underlying felony would have been a break-in. Premeditated only. 7 voted that it was premeditated and felony, and 0 actually voted for the alternative, just a felony murder. Does that speak to you in any way?
Well, I think the reason why this case is now 12 jurors, it's a tiny bit of hope from the fact that they have to be unanimous when it comes to the death penalty. That's all it takes. One juror can make this into a life in prison case and not a death. Have to be unanimous if it's not going to be